Okay, today we're going to start, I think it's directly on top of Membeis, 42 Amid Aleph, at the Mishnah. We thank Hashem that we're playing Torah every day. In this course of learning, we should have to be some English. So we're learning in this course of Zahav Golda Bas Baruch Binyamin, and the tunnels of Metzia. Whoever needs a refuah shlema. Okay, the Mishnah starts. Someone deposits money with his friend. He wraps them up, probably in a some sort of cloth, and he puts it behind him. That's what he used to use, like a stick with a bag. He gives them over to his son or his daughter that are minors. And he locks the door on them. There's different interpretations here when it says and he locks the door on them. Is he locking the door on the minors, or it doesn't mean or he locks the door on the money? But it doesn't lock it properly. Yeah, so who are they quoting when it says that? And he locks the door before them. Well, that's Rashi. So Rashi says that it's because that he locked the door on the children, but it wasn't adequate. So he's locking the children in. I think the other commentaries say Rabbeinu Hananel's learning that he's locking the door on the money, not on the children. That's each different cases. Okay. So the rule in all of these cases is chayiv shimek derech Hashem. He's going to be chayiv because he's not guarding it the way that a watchman is supposed to guard it. But if he did guard it in a way that was appropriate, so then he's going to be pater. So okay, we're talking about over here Hashem Chinam. And if he did it in a way that wasn't negligent, so then that's considered, that's acceptable. And otherwise, he's going to be chayiv. Okay. Gemara starts like this.
How do we know it's a shomer chinam?
Okay. Because if it would be a shemer sachar, we'll see in a moment. We'll see this like this big tosfos here on.
Okay.
But if it's a shemer sachar, then he would be chayav for gneva, even if he watched it properly. But if it gets stolen, he's chayav for that.
Because I started to wonder in the last week, as we're reading, if the standard of care is the same for all shomrim, but the level of liability is what's different.
Yeah, I think it's also a different standard.
Different standard of care. Maybe it's the same thing. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. The notes Hillel's telling me that it says that it could be a shemer sachar. Now, if it would be a shemer sachar, then what would happen to make him pater would have to be a ninus. Yeah. A paid shemer is expected to safeguard the deposit in a manner that is above the norm.
Oh, so this description is normal guarding.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Then he actually quotes over here, but others say that a paid shemer is not expected to go to such extremes, provided that he safeguard the deposit in a superior fashion. Is not liable of theft. There's a tosfos on the top here, tosfos Amar Shmuel. is discussing this question. Okay, we'll see. We'll see when it shows up. The Gemara says that I understand all of these cases why he's going to be chayiv because he didn't watch it properly. He gave it to a child. He didn't lock the door right. Basically put it in his backpack. So what do you want from him to do? What better watching is there than putting it in your bag, in this tied up thing that you're holding?
I figured it was behind him. So
very good. The Yonatan and the Gemara are saying that Amar Rava, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak. Rava says the name of Rabbi Yitzchak. Amar Kra, the pasuk, we quote a pasuk, V'tarta kesef biyadcha. Talking about Meiser Sheni. Take the money and you bring it to Yerushalayim. So you take the value of the produce. Anyway, it says over there that you wrap up the money and you put it in your hand. Even though you wrapped it up, it's not enough that it's wrapped up. It also needs to be in your hand, which would mean in front of you. Base that on the pasuk. The Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, another statement from Rabbi Yitzchak. A person should always have ready cash.
Credit card.
Not even in the bank. Yeah, or a credit card, I guess. Why? So that he should be able to buy stuff that's on sale, and he should be able to make money off it. Buy low. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, you should wrap up the money in your hand. Okay. Rabbi Yitzchak says, a person should always divide his money into thirds. A third of it he should put in the ground. That either means that he should bury it, or it means he should invest in real estate. Shlish b'parkamatya. Shlish, 1/3. This dividing into thirds here. 1/3 is in the ground. 1/3 is in business investments in merchandise. Yeah, it sounds like the word pragmatic. No, it sounds like the word pragmatic, pragmatia, but it means merchandise. And 1/3 should be in cash. He should have cash. Yeah. Still accurate? Okay. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak says, this is for sure still accurate. The blessings only come on something that's hidden from the eye. We're quoting statements from Rabbi Yitzchak. So another statement is that if you want blessing, then it can't be something it's visible. It must be something that's concealed. It says that Hashem will command his blessing in your storage house. Tana de Rabbi Shmuel, it was taught in the house of Rabbi Shmuel, in the yeshiva of Rabbi Shmuel. The blessing is only found in something that the eye doesn't catch. What is he saying different than samim and ayin? Does any comment over there? There's samim and ayin that's concealed, and then there's the eye catching it.
This is
Yeah.
So Chazal also stated that brachas is not found in matters that create the impression that one is amassing a significant profit. For example, barrel.
No.
Hashem's blessing is bestowed discreetly. For example, in the incident recounting in Kings 2, chapter 4, Elisha instructed a woman to close the door before a miracle transpired.
So, but yeah, I'm not sure if that's how that's different from samim and ayin, but take a look. Take a look.
It gives the answer to the question.
Oh, as far as the messages are concerned, this teaching is the same as the previous one. The difference between them concerns only this treatment of the word asamecha, your silo, or no, that's just the translation. And what are they saying? Asamecha is either your hidden storage places or your silos. Okay. All right. Okay. The message is the same according to that. What Jonathan was reading was that it says that you're supposed to use small containers, not large containers or something, because the blessing comes in smaller things, and right?
Yeah.
And also it says to close the door when you're when the miracle is happening.
So the minor also spoke about that. Like if the garment was too big, if the person could trip.
This has to do with ein Haar.
That's what it seems. But it seems, but I mean, it has to do with the way Hashem gives His
Showing,
blessings.
Yeah, the best way to receive brachos.
But maybe it's associated with Ayin Hara.
Say that only affects people that believe.
That's the topic.
So maybe it's more. Maybe it's more than Ayin Hara. The Ayin Hara only works on certain things. Seems like a more general statement. Okay. So what instructions does this give you for winning the lottery? I don't see the what you're supposed to do over here.
Don't go on TV.
Okay. Taner Rabbanan. Taught in a brisa. Someone that's going to measure how much grain he has in his silo or granary, he should say the following blessing: Yiratzin milfanecha Hashem Elokeinu, should be the will before you, Hashem our God. You should send this blessing in the work of our hands. If he started to measure, he should say Baruch Hashleach Baruch B'kriyazeh. Blessed is the one that sends his blessing into this silo. Madad, let's say first he measured, and then afterwards he says the bracha, raise it tefillah shav. That's a blessing in vain. Blessing is only found on things that aren't counted, that aren't weighed, that aren't measured. You have to pray before you take the. Oh, that's what Yitzi says. Don't count your blessings. I never heard that before. Okay.
Abraham, he was afraid, like he was doing a cheshbon.
Oh yeah, like Yaakov, I think.
Yaakov.
Yaakov said I used up all my blessings. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I said blessing. It really means prayer. It's not blessing is blessing God. It's praying that it should increase. Prayer would be the more correct. Amar Shmuel. Shmuel says, if you want to protect your money, you have to put it into the ground. Now, that probably means hide it in the ground. Could also mean maybe buy real estate, but it could mean hide it in the ground. Amarava, over here it's talking about hiding. It's talking about hiding it because the Gemara is going to ask how deep do you have to put it. It's talking about hiding it in the ground. Right. Like we mentioned okay. Amar Rava says, Rava says that Shmuel would agree that if this is given to a shomer, to a watchman, and he didn't put it in the ground, he's not considered negligent if it's Erev Shabbos. Any other day, it's considered negligent. You're supposed to put it in the safe, you're supposed to put it in the ground. So if it was Erev Shabbos bein hashmashas, it doesn't have time to start digging holes. So the rabbis didn't put that responsibility, that obligation on him. But if he waits after Shabbos the amount of time that he would have been able to bury it, and he doesn't bury it, and it gets lost, so then that's considered negligent, and he's going to be chayav because you should have right away put it in the ground, and you're able to. Okay, now this statement could go two ways. It's as if he's a sage. Now, if he's a sage, Rashi says, if the person that gave the money to watch, the owner of the money, not the watchman, the owner of the money is a sage, and the watchman doesn't bury it because Savar, he's thinking, maybe after Shabbos, the sage wants to have money for to buy wine for Havdalah, and that's why if I'm going to bury it now, he's going to ask me for it in a moment. Why should I bury it now? Let me just hold on to it till the time for Havdalah is over. He may need the money. The other pshat over here was Itzav Merabananu. If he's a sage, then he's not hearing the Havdalah. He doesn't have time to go home to bury it because maybe he's still in shul, hearing Havdalah in shul. So that's going to take him longer. It's another pshat. Yeah. Okay, now, but nowadays that they have people that they tap the ground to see if there's anything hollow there. You can't use the ground anymore. This is like those metal detectors. Can't use the ground anymore, so you have to put it in the beams of the roof. But now that they have people that break the roofs, these roof breakers, that they're looking for money in the roof, then you have to put it in between the bricks and the walls. Rava says, Shmuel agrees that the wall is good.
Do they have banks back then? Like burying it in the dirt or in the wall, is that like a depositing it in the bank, or is that not the same thing?
Well, it can be comparable to today, depositing in the bank.
They don't have banks.
Those are in a toilet paper. Two things to remember when you.
In order for banks to start, they needed to have government insurance to cover it.
Yeah, that's.
But they didn't have banks before that. The Rothschilds.
I think at first they didn't have the insurance came about maybe that's a depression situation.
Banking, the way that we know it, started in the Middle Ages in Italy. The word bank comes from the Italian word for bench, il banco. And Jews were allowed to set up benches to exchange money in Italian cities like Venice.
But where did it come where you actually put the money there and you feel that it's safe?
I think from that period. But it was mainly used to transfer money from one city to another. People would acquire bills of lading from the Jews who sat on benches.
But we have shulchane. We have in the Gemara, banker was a table. Maybe that's the same thing.
Interesting. So bench to do the exchange, and banco also means bench.
Yeah.
It means bank or bench.
Right. Yeah, in Yiddish, there's a bank. They would talk about a yeshiva bachik. Kvetch the bank. He's squeezing his chair. He's like sits and learns. He's like, what's he doing? He's like, kvetch the bank. That's just okay. So Shmuel agrees that the wall is also good. But in the deshchichit tfuchai, but now that they have people that come and they tap on the walls, in the wall itself, you have to put it very close to the floor or close to the ceiling, where when you tap over there, you can't really tell if it's hollow or not. It's not in the center of the wall. Okay. Ravacha, the son of Rav Yosef, says to Rav Ashi, Hasam Tanan. Over there we have a Mishnah, Chametz Shenafel of Mapailas. If you have chametz and on it falls a collapsed wall. It's considered that it's destroyed. Yeah, you don't have to because you can't access it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And question is if this is also the same thing as behind your refrigerator. You also can't access that on a normal basis, you know. So Rav Shimon ben Gamliel Aimer Kol She'ena Kelev Yochel Lachapis Acharav. Shimon ben Gamliel says not necessarily. It's only if a dog can't reach it, or maybe he's I don't know if he's saying less or saying more. Is he saying more than the mapilas, or is he limiting the mapilas? Oh, he's limiting. Not every collapsed wall is going to be exempt. It has to be deep enough that the dog can't reach it. The Tana was taught, Kama Chavisas Keleb, how deep is the digging of a dog? Gimel Tvachim, those 3 Tvachim. Okay, so now the question is Hachamai. Question is what happens here regarding hiding the money, how deep does it have to go? Me being Shleshet Tvachim Elai. Does this mean that you have to bury the money 3 Tvachim deep? Amalei, so he said to him, who is to him? This is Rav Ashi. Over there, there's a concern about the smell because the dog smells. He has a scent, and he can smell the bread. So being a gimel tvachim, over here, it doesn't have to do with the smell. It just has to be covered here. You can put fake grass over it, and you're all set. It just needs to be covered. So like being a gimel tvachim. You don't need 3 tvachim. Kama. So how much do you need? Amara from Misichra tefach. You just need 1 tefach. Okay.
Does that mean that the chametz becomes hefker if you can't access it or something?
It becomes not considered in your domain, as if it's not in your domain.
That's not the same with money. If you bury it, it's still in your domain. But with chametz.
Right.
I think the money they want to put deep, so also covered.
Okay. Taisa says that he should be putter anyway because you don't have to check in places where you put your hand in there, you could get bitten by a scorpion. So he says we're talking about over here, not where you're going to put your hand into the hole and try to pull out the chametz. We're talking about that maybe you should be obligated to clear away the rubble from the collapsed wall. Then Taisa has another answer. He says maybe that's only if you don't know if there's chametz, then you don't have to search there. But if you do know that there's chametz, maybe you still have to search there. Because the Gemara has a question: if there's a loaf of bread in the mouth of a snake, do you have to hire a snake charmer to get it out? Okay. You do?
Are your services ready?
Get rid of the snake. Put the chametz in
So who Gavra? There was a person that he gave money to his friend. He put it into a hut that's made out of willow. It's made out of willows. Trifadorvini is it's a hut. At least in the Gemara Sukkah, it's a hut that looks like a bird cage. They would take these willows and they would put it up. They would tie a string on the top. Then it would come down like a dome, and they would on the bottom it was like woven. They would weave it so it was like held. The tie on the top, and there was a woven on the bottom. It would come out like a. Anyway, Ignav, the money got stolen from there. Rabbi Yosef says, even though for thieves, even though it's not hidden in the ground, since the money is usually not held there, so this would be a protection from thieves. No thieves would check in it. to be able to find their money, to find money. So that's considered a good protection. But linyan nurap shusi, but let's say for fire, that could still get burnt up. It sounds like we're talking about paper money, but apparently it still gets ruined in the fire. So, but this could catch on fire. So since even though what happened over here was einus, even though what happened here was unpreventable, it got stolen. But since it wasn't considered a good washing anyway, because you shouldn't put the money there because it could catch on fire, it could be destroyed by the fire. So then it's tchilasi b'pshia. You started with negligence, even though the end case was that it was unpreventable circumstance. That the rule is, according to this opinion, that he's chayev. That's the way Rabbi Yosef is ruling. Bikadami, that those that say afagav the linyan nurap shusi, that even though for fire that's considered negligent, but linyan ganvin netirusi, regarding theft, which is actually what happened, it's considered a good washing. Some say that even though you started with negligence, but in the end it was unpreventable circumstance, so he's exempt. The Helchusa, however, the Gemara concludes, yeah, is that how they say in the halacha, in your the Quran?
Yeah, and the halacha is a case where the extent was called negligence,
Yeah.
and ultimately by accident, the bailee is liable.
But how is this a good place to prevent thievery? It's like a willow seems like very easy to just grab stuff from inside.
Yeah. So he said, but the way Rashi puts it is that it's not common for thieves to go and search there for money. So it'd be probably like in your laundry basket or like in your freezer or something, you know. It's just not. It's considered. It's not where they would look. It's not like they're looking in your jewelry box, you know.
In your carburetor.
Okay. Does anyone do that? Yitzi suggested keeping the money in your carburetor. Do they still have? I don't think the cars have carburetors anymore. Okay. 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 Hahu Gavra. Remember, we would always run out of gas. So my mother knew how to open the hood. We would get the can of gas from the gas station. You have to get a ride to the gas station to get the can. But if you put it in the tank, it wouldn't start. You had to open up the hood, open up the carburetor, pour it into the carburetor to get it. Yeah. You know that? Yeah.
Other famously had a Rolls Royce.
Bentley. That wasn't the Bentley. Okay, who gavra dafkid zuzi gabi chavri? There was a person that gave money to his friend to watch. Okay. Amalei havli zuzai comes to me, says, "Give me the money." He wants it back. Amalei lo yadan echasvin. I don't know where I put it. Aslakami de Rava comes to Rava. Amalei kol lo yadan pshusi zil shlim. Anyone that says they don't know, that's considered a pshia, negligence, and you have to pay. Now, this is interesting because if he's a shemechinam, he's exempt on when it gets lost. There must be different types of getting lost. This is where it's he's negligent how it got lost. Not that I'm not sure what other types of getting lost there are, but this must be a different story.
I don't know where I put it.
This is exactly like the one with the nose rings there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, remember the kippoi.
Mm.
The kippoi. What was the halach over there with the rings?
Same thing says lo yadana, it's pshia.
Yeah, and then we said that they had to give it back, right? Shumahada.
Oh, because they found it. The guy took the guy's
His palace
palace.
back. Yeah, yeah, that's it on Lamed Hey. Puzzle Rab Nachman Agvela Pandemine. Okay, but what does it mean in general when it says that if someone that if a Shem Chinam is exempt from if it gets lost or stolen? What type of loss is not? I don't know where I put it. Shalom is that.
I think it is that you forgot what you put.
So then how is it considered exempt? lost means. Let me see.
I don't know what's considered negligent.
Okay, I understand. So when is a case of loss? Let me see in the Quran. Yeah. The Ritva asks, isn't it the halacha that an unpaid bailey is exempt if the deposit is lost, which is by definition a case where the bailey says, I do not know where it is? That's the question. The Ravid explains that he is exempt only in cases where he knows that the animal fled or the money fell out of his hand and is unrecoverable. But if the deposit was lost in a manner where the bailey does not know the circumstances, he is liable to pay. Yes, we're going to have to divide this up. This makes it a little complicated. When he says got lost, well, how exactly did it get lost? If he's missing information that he should have known, then that's considered negligent. Not every lost is I lost it. Like Hashem Echinam is pater on Gneva Aveda. So what is the Aveda? He lost it. So if he says I don't know where I put it, he's still chayav. Okay. Hahu Gavra. There was a person that gave money to his friend to watch. Ashlaminu le'emei gave it to his mother to watch. This is the Shomer. Shomer shemasar le'emei. He gave it to his mother. So Asvina Bekar Talisa, she put it in her chest. What type of box? Some sort of chest. The ignav and it got stolen from there. Amar Rava says, how should the judges judge a case like this? Let's tell the Shomer, Zilshlim, go pay. Why should he have to pay, the Shomer? Well, who gave him the right to hand it over to someone else to watch? Shomer shemasar l'shomer. He shouldn't be doing that. Amar, he said, well, the truth is his wife and children. So Amar, he's going to say back, I'm allowed to let my family watch it. Maybe he lives with his mother, and that was understood that he's going to do that. That's right. Except he's going to respond, except in the case where it's a family member. That's an adult, right? The name of Leileme. So if he's going to be exempt, so then we have to tell the mother. Mother, it's your fault. Zil Shlim, you should pay. Amra, why should she pay? Because she didn't bury it in the ground. She put it in a box, which basically says on top, here is the money. So the thieves come in and they take it straight from there. Got stolen. So you should have buried it. Amra, she's going to say, he never told me that it wasn't his money, that I should bury it. I didn't know that he was a shomer and he had to watch it the way shomer watch it. I didn't know that the background to it. The name Malay, but we're going to now say to him, so in other words, she's exempting herself because she was missing information. She did what she was supposed to. But we'll say to him, Amayla Amritla. So why didn't you tell it to her? Now we're going to make him responsible, the shomer. The Zamar, he's going to say, I said that it was mine because I wanted her to watch it even better. I figured she would watch mine better than she would watch from someone else. Rava says, the shomer, all he has to do is swear that he gave it to his mother. The mother has to swear that she put it into the box and it got stolen. And then they're exempt and the original owner loses out. Yeah, interesting, huh?
The light because it's the same level of responsibility because if I remember learning before that the renter then borrowed the item and then there was a whole different situation. It turned out that the renter actually made money off the cow that wasn't nice.
Well, I think I think what we're doing over there is I think we're actually taking that into account where the in that Mishnah, Hillel's bringing up the Mishnah of when someone rented a cow and then he lent it to someone else. He ends up making money off it. According to Rabbi Yossi, which I think did we say the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi? According to Rabbi Yossi, we said that he can't make money off someone else's animal, which means that the original owner can go to the borrower and say, you pay the money directly to me. It was my animal. So I think that's what's going on over here. We're suggesting that the original owner could go to the mother and start making claims. The mother can get out of it, but we're still setting that up. That there's a conversation there. And we're not saying like, I don't know, you're not the one that I'm dealing with. Yeah. Okay. We'll see. That it could be that's more connected in the next case. Thesis mentions that in the next case. It says like this. Hahu apotrupa de yasmi. There was a how do we translate apotrupa? Administrator. Okay. We always translate
more like guardian.
A guardian. A steward? Is that a good word? A steward?
Well, that's the word that's used today to describe somebody who takes care of orphans, say. It's more common to use the word guardian.
A guardian. Okay.
Court-appointed guardian.
A steward sounds like someone that gives you the chips on the plane. Okay. So so the guardian. There was a guardian of Yisaimim, of orphans. He bought an ox, probably because he wants to use it to plow their fields, but he bought an ox for the guardians, and then he gave it to the Bakras, the shepherd. This ox didn't have any teeth or molars, and it died. Remember that Shel Silverstein poem with the crocodile? The dentist was pulling teeth. That was very funny. The dentist was pulling teeth out of a crocodile. He says, "What's one tooth for a crocodile? One more, one less." And then it closes its mouth and it says, "What's one dentist? One more, one." Okay. Anyway, this animal didn't have any teeth, so it died. Amar Rami Bar Chama, who was the last one that asked this question, was Rava, I think. Last was Rava. Now it's Rami Bar Chama. Rami Bar Chama says, how should we judge this case? Namely, La Petrapa Zil Shlim. Do you want us to tell the guardian that you should pay? You have to pay. Who's he paying to? Paying to the orphans. At this point, let's probably. Amar, he's going to say, I gave it to the shepherd. I'm not guilty. I gave it to the shepherd. Namely, Lavakar. So let's tell the shepherd, Zilshlim, that you should pay. Amar Nabahadi Tura Kimta. I put it with other animals. I did. Sorry.
I just think it's very interesting how they use this example of teeth because it's something like visible. Like he could have checked, like if the animal had a bad organ or something, he would have it in by himself.
Right. It says I gave it to I put it with the other animals. And I threw the food to it. I didn't know that it was missing teeth. Okay, Michti. Let's see. Bakra Shemer Sacha Diasmihu. The shepherd is a Shemer Sacha, he's a paid watchman. Paid watchman, Baile Liyune. He has a higher level of responsibility, and he should have checked if it has teeth. Gemara says, he could say that the Yasmi Achanami, you're right. A paid watchman has a higher level of responsibility, and he should have checked. If there would be a loss to the orphans, then yes, he would need to pay to the orphans. And what are we dealing with here? The Lekab say that the Yasmi, there was no loss to the orphans. Why? Because the orphans went back to the original owner, the original seller. They said, "You sold us a lemon. You sold us an animal without teeth. It's not going to work." right? You can only get 1 day out of that. So they got the money back. So now it's not a question of the orphans getting the money from the shomer, and so therefore we're asking the question. The only problem is elaman katan. So if the orphans don't want the money, so who does want the money? Why do we ask? Why do we bring up this case where Rami Bar Chama says, I don't know what to do over here, if the orphans already got their money? So Mari de Turikatan, the owner of the original owner, he's the one that's claiming his money, because okay, he paid the orphans because it was a mekachtos, because I sold you an animal that I didn't disclose that it had a problem. So okay, so you get your money back. But now he's going to the person that was dealing with the animal, and he's saying, "How come you didn't treat it properly? Now I want to get the money from you." So it says he's claiming, "Ibayle la yiduan." Ibayle la yiduan. He needed to notify them. Yeah, he's demanding payment from the apotropos, from the guardian. Oh, he's claiming, yeah, he's claiming, very good. He's claiming from the apotropos that the apotropos should have told the shepherd to be careful with this, that it doesn't have teeth. That's how the animal died. So it's my lay. What do you mean he should notify him? Made the other the mekachtos. Made the other the mekachtos. Did he know? Made the other. The owner for sure knows that it was mekachtos. The owner knows that it was mekachtos, which means he fooled him. So how are you expecting? I'm not sure if that's the way you're supposed to read it. Let me see English. Rather, the one who then claims compensation from the cowherd, the shepherd. The previous owner claims compensation. He from the steward, the guardian. He should have informed us that the ox was not eating, but not telling the original owner that there's a problem. The Gemara answers, what would we inform the previous owner? He knows that it is a mistaken transaction, as he would be aware that the ox had no teeth. Yeah, not that, I thought that he was supposed to tell the shepherd. He's saying that you should have gone back to the owner and told him. The Gemara is saying, go back to the owner. He knows that it didn't have teeth. The Gemara explains this is a case with regard to a trader who buys from your okay. Broker. Right. And what was he supposed to do? He was supposed to notify either the original owner or the shepherd. But he's claiming he should have notified the original owner. So it says, made the other the mekachtas. He knew that it was that it had a problem. So my answer is besafsira. We're dealing with the broker. He just buys and sells. He doesn't know what's going on with the animals. Hilkach. Therefore, all he has to do is he swears. The apotropos swears. Mishtabi'ihu is who? The broker has to swear that he actually didn't know. Mishalim bakra demei basar bazal. And then, this is the obligation now gets put on the shepherd to pay the price of meat at a very low price. Now, Rashi goes through this thing over here. He says, where do you get this from? That now the shepherd has to pay the low price of meat? So Rashi says that it's coming from the Gemara with what Hill mentioned before, where Rabbi Yossi says that when he borrows a cow and he rents a cow and then he lends it out, so the money needs to go back to the original owner. So here what's happening is that the original owner is now claiming from the shepherd the money. Rashi's saying that this is a type of pshara. doesn't have to pay the entire amount of the animal as it would be alive. Only he gives the skin back to the owner, and the meat is sold at the cheapest price,
What's a
2/3 of the
shara?
price.
For people who don't know, what's a
Shara is a
Compromise.
compromise.
shara? I don't know the word.
You were asking for a friend.
It
The
says
meat
he
is so
doesn't
cheap
know
because it's not kosher.
that word. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
The meat is so cheap because it's not kosher because the animal just died. That has to do with it or not?
No, I didn't think that was the reason. The meat is so cheap. I thought the reason would be because we don't know what could have been done with this animal. The only thing that could have been done with this animal is that you shecht it and then you sell it. But what sale price would you actually use? So we're going to take the lowest sale price possible, which is maybe it could have. That's because we can't charge him a high price of because that's the loss. We can only charge him the lowest possible price of this of what we lost because of this, because he didn't check to see if it had teeth.
This sounds a lot with Eliyahu Navi also and Elisha, where he goes to, he's a shepherd. He goes over and he says, "Oh, let me talk to my mother first.
But
Ask
yeah,
my parents first, so I can go." And then they end up slaughtering the ox, and he goes with Eliyahu.
where would the teeth come in there?
Well, Elisha almost lost the opportunity.
Oh,
Like he was like, "Oh, I have to take care of my ox." Oh,
right.
probably not a good idea. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a whole discussion, but if he would have gotten the animal on the market day, he could have checked it and
Right.
sold it for full.
Oh, he could have shechted and sold it for full value,
If he got
but
it at market day.
but I think we're not going to charge him that. I think we're going to charge him the lower price because we don't know what he could have maybe it wouldn't have sold for full value, and it would have sold. Okay. There was a person that gave hops to his friend to watch. Hops are used in making beer. It's a gesund. Well, the person, the shomer, also had a pile of hops. He says to his beer brewer, that's the guy that's helping him, Mehai Rami, take from this pile. He points to his own pile to put into the beer. Azal Ram Midach, but the guy went and he put it from the other pile that he was watching. So, how should the judges judge this case? Namely, should we tell the shame Zilslim that you should pay? Amar, he's going to say, Mehai Rami, what do you want from me? I told him to take from that pile. I didn't take the things. So namely, Sarsis will tell to the beer brewer, Zilslim, that you should pay. He didn't tell me that not to take from those. He just said take from those. I thought that was just a suggestion. Now, if he waited enough time where the owner should have noticed that he's taking from the wrong ones, so obviously the Balabais knows that he took from the wrong ones and he should be responsible. The Gemara says that there was no way that we can prove that the owner knew or not because it was probably the same distance away from each other. Safe, my pseidik. The Gemara says, 1 second, what's the problem over here? Right, he put hops into the beer, so now he made the beer. So give him whatever value there is. There's increase of because of the beer. But I think he said it brewed, and he has now he made a profit. So he should pay the owner, the original owner of the hops, based on the increase from the beer. We're talking about that the beer didn't actually come out well, turned into vinegar. Okay, yeah, don't tell me the type of beer that it's referring to. Ravashi says, the kisi u'mishalim le'demei kisi. It was a very inferior type of hops that has thorns mixed into it, and it didn't come out properly. So what we're gonna say is that you'll only have to pay the owner the value of the increase of what he got from the hops from these inferior type hops that have thorns. Okay, sounds like similar to what before is that you pay, but from the least price. Okay.
What's the name of your view?
Ellie, in your travels, have you ever run into Isaac Lefkowitz in Muncie?
Yeah, I know, Isaac.
This whole story about finding a place to hide something in the house.